Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and I wanted to give my personal opinion about this CW Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, I'm gonna be very, very clear about this, and I'm gonna be very crystal clear. The only thing I want for these CW shows is I want them to take this stuff seriously. Now, do I want them to take the characters and make them broody or not? No, 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 no. What I want is serious storylines. Okay, these characters have had very serious storylines for for close to 70 years, and for them to be lambasted into PG level Marvel level writing, to me it's an insult to a lot of the writers who put their heart and souls into these storylines. Green Arrow is a very lighthearted character, but he does have some dark level stories. Flash has some dark level stories, even though Barry is a lighthearted person. Okay, Supergirl, her storylines are a little bit more dark, are a little bit more lighter in tone than all the rest of them, only because she's from the Superman family. Batwoman, same thing. She has a very dark crime. Her story should be in the same vein as Arrow's, but written a lot better. Okay, Legends of Tomorrow is wacky, zany, and I thought they were going to go a little more serious. Okay, what I want is I want adult level writing. I don't want simplistic levels of writing. It doesn't mean that I want to degrade these characters, and it also doesn't mean that I think that CW can't do any better. Listen, Supernatural's been on for over 14 years. This is their 15th season. They've done very dark level stories, and it worked a lot of times with what they were doing. And I'm not saying that these guys should be doing the same thing as Supernatural. What I'm saying is go back to the source material and look at the source material and see what the level of tone that they're trying to do there and imitate it. That's it. They could have did the first season. I'm about to do a whole first half of Arrow that they could have done that I believe that Stephen Amell would have really liked, and he would have literally went, hey, you know what, that would have probably have worked. Okay, simple. Barry Allen, the same thing with the Flash. Now this season of the Flash is not bad, but it's not that good either. It's not at the same level as Zoom, and it's definitely not in the first season writing levels. It's actually gone considerably down bad. Okay, I'm not knocking on Grant Gustin. I think he's still doing a really good job as Barry Allen. I still say Stephen Amell is a great Green Arrow. The only problem is they write him almost like he's Bruce Wayne, and he's not Bruce Wayne. Um, Katie Lloyd, she pretty much has got herself a wacky slapstick comedy show, and they're making it work, and that's perfectly okay. The problem with Supergirl, they made it very SJW, anti this, anti that, instead of telling deep rooted stories of how does this girl who has the same powers as her cousin, how does she get out of the shadow of her cousin without demeaning the legacy that he's establishing here on Earth? You can write her doing the first season was okay with her doing a lot of mess ups and people are calling her out on it. I found those were actually pretty funny. They made sense. She doesn't know how to use her powers in the same vein as freaking Superman, and they wrote her as a Mary Sue in a lot of ways. And that to me is a degrade to even to Melissa Benoist. I think she could play a great Supergirl. She has the look, she has the smile, she has everything about her that can make her a really, really great Supergirl. They write her to be a Mary Sue, they write her to be a lecturer when that's not her role. Supergirl does not lecture people. And they wrote her in a way that basically she's that her sister is a better fighter than all these other people, and it's like, what the heck is that about? That makes absolutely no sense. They 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 disregard power structure, and they disregard power how they make certain people stronger than others, and that's where you get the angst. That's where you get the the drama, because it's her overcoming the same level of odds that her cousin has to go through. If she fights someone like Metallo who has a green kryptonite rocking him, how is she going to be able to take him down? It's not about a team aspect. It's about how does she overcome the odds? Because if everybody keeps coming to help her, how that means to me that she can't defeat this enemy. That's how I see it. It has nothing to do with team aspect. It's called Supergirl, not Supergirl and Friends. Same goes for Arrow. It's not called Arrow and his friends. It's called Arrow. It's the Green Arrow show. It's about Oliver Queen and how does he, And how does he overcome his enemies? Same goes for the Flash. It's not called the Flash. It's not called Team Flash. It's called the Flash. It's about Barry Allen. It's about how does he overcome his enemies. So there's a lot of things that the CW itself have written themselves into a corner, and I do blame the leaders. I blame Mark Guggenheim. I blame Andrew Kreisberg. I blame Greg Berlanti. I blame the leaders of this because they believe that we as audience members are gonna be much happier with us having all this teams. And it's like, no, you're bloating out your show, and that's what they did. They bloated out Arrow to the point where other actors are feeling like they're not getting a lot of storylines. Same thing goes to the Flash. You're not getting a lot of storylines because the star of the show should be about Grant Gustin and Barry Allen. Same goes for Supergirl. You lost Jimmy Olsen when there's no reason for Jimmy Olsen even to be on the show. But if you're gonna have him on the show, then give him some better storylines. They didn't know what to do with his character, and that was a shame. Same goes for Batwoman. There is so many problems on Batwoman that there's just I don't have enough time to even talk about it. But the number one thing that they've done throughout the I'm gonna say the 8 years. Oh, I'm sorry, 9 years. It's been 9 years because when we heard about Arrow, it was about over nine. It was about 9 years ago. 9 years. The moment they did the first season of Arrow, it was phenomenal. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great understanding of who Oliver Queen is. I personally believe that season two they should have lightened it up, given us a darker story, but lightened up Oliver Queen, got him closer and closer to becoming the classic Green Arrow. He doesn't. I mean, him throwing out jokes, him throwing out the jovialness, him wanting to be with somebody but realizing, hey, should I do this, should I do that? Those are things that Oliver Queen always dealt with in the comics, because he's a guy that basically survived on an island for 5 years and got a second chance at life, and he's living life to the fullest because he's never going to get that ever again. You don't get a second chance in that type of situation. Not many people can live a second chance, get a second chance at life, and he's gonna live it. He's gonna live it vicariously. He's gonna live it to the fullest, and that's why he loves being the Green Arrow, because that's who he is. That's Oliver Queen at heart. And we didn't get that with this version of Oliver. He's been always teetering between, I don't want to be bad, but I got to be this good person. There's always darkness in myself. Okay, that's understandable, but you gave that up the moment you said you're not going to kill people. You said that numerous times in all of your seasons that you're not this bad person. Well, they're writing you to always keep saying that, and that's not your character. That is not what Oliver Queen does. And to me, that is a disservice to him, and it's a huge disservice to Stephen Amell, because I think he's a great actor. I think he's really good, and he can elicit a lot of good feelings out of people. He is a good character actor. Grant Gustin is the same thing. He can elicit a lot of good feelings out of people because he's a drama actor. He's a stage actor, and he does really good job eliciting those feelings out of all of us. Now I stopped watching Supergirl because it became more of a pandering, and it kept wagging a finger at me like I have a problem against women. I don't. I want to see more superhero women out there, but don't lambast me because I'm a guy and I like looking at women. I mean, what the hell is that about? I mean, the whole purpose of guys in tights is so women can actually see buff guys in tights. Same thing goes for guys looking at women in tights. We want to look at women in tights. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's our biological function of being attracted to a person. So what the heck's the problem? And they keep wagging fingers at people saying that you got to believe this, you got to believe that. No, the earth is, our world is not sunshine and rainbows. And if you keep forcing that on the people, that means you're forcing ideas into people that they don't believe in. And that's going to cause even more problems. Okay, that's my rant about Supergirl. I'm going to move on. Now, Legend Tomorrow, it's had a lot of problems, but I think it's found its niche. It just says, you know what, we're a slapstick comedy, wacky zany TV show that doesn't give two s's about anything. Great. Okay, I'm not watching it. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't watch buffoonery to the nth degree. I can't. I mean, I have huge respect for Dominic Purcell. I have huge respect for Brandon Routh. I have huge respect for a lot of the actors on there, but it just makes me go, what the heck are they doing with this show? They don't know how to write a serious storyline and have a serious villain on there. And when you write a serious villain on a zany, wacky show, you can't take that villain seriously because it just looks so offsetting for the show, and that's why they got rid of Vandal Savage. He was very serious, but he was zany. He was a little zany. Um, Damien Dark was perfect on that show because he was that firm balance of being serious, dangerous, and also he had a zaniness about him too. He was very Machiavellian about his plans, and it was really good. But the CW, when it comes down to the content that they're trying to create, it is for teenagers. This show is not made for adults. It's made for teenagers. And I said numerous times I'm gonna finish watching Arrow, and I will sum this series up in a grade. And right now with this season, it's a C plus, almost a B minus. And the only reason why I'm giving it that much is because I think that they're doing a really great job with Stephen Amell. Stephen Amell is acting his heart out, and so is a lot of the other actors. But the storyline is crap. I'm sorry, it's crap. They brought in Arrow Beyond into the situation because of Crisis, but the whole story makes absolutely no sense. You basically just undid your future. You just undid the future. So whatever we got accustomed to, it just got undone because that future is never going to happen. And they already just started making points to that point where it's going to change. And it's like, what the heck? Then why'd you do this last future in the first place? Why didn't you show it where Oliver Queen, kept it not dark, but made it where that city regards Oliver Queen as the Green Arrow as the greatest hero of the city and made the city peaceful. You could have done that, and then boom, we would have been like, oh, okay. But you have elements coming back into the city, and because there is no Green Arrow, you have all this stuff that's been going on, all this levels of corruption that's been going on in that city. But they don't do. But it's not. It's on the massive down low. You got Mia and her brother William trying to pick up the mantle of their father and their mom. Okay, that's fine. But they don't know that there's so much corruption ever since Green Arrow disappeared, and there's a lot of corruption. It's been seeded in that city ever since Green Arrow disappeared in Crisis, and now you're starting to slowly see. You now there, and you could have did that, and it'd have been all perfectly freaking fine. But no, they gave us a dystopian future, almost in the point of it's like Batman Beyond, and now you're undoing it. They're undoing it because they just did they did one episode where they stopped the rise of Joseph Wilson's Deathstroke, and that future is not going to slowly not happen now. So it's like, what the heck are you guys doing? Why'd you even give us investments into that season then? You just undid your whole season. That's my problem with it. Other than that, the acting, a lot of the acting is good, but I'm loving Stephen Amell's portrayal of this version of Oliver, who's slowly trying to come to terms with the fact that he's gonna die. He has to die. It's not something they can avoid, and he's just riding the emotions. He just doesn't care right now. You have Diggle saying, "No, we could change the future." No, you can't. You cannot change that future. But the problem is, there's a lot of problems because of last season last season in The Flash, and I'll go into that in another video. But The Flash, I think that Bloodwork's a great villain. He's a great villain, phenomenal villain. But he's not. But his villainy is wasted in this season because no one's gonna give two craps about him. They want to see Crisis. In my personal opinion, I said this before in a Flash video. They should have did the Reverse Flash. You should have did this whole season all the way up to Crisis. It's all about the Reverse Flash. The Reverse Flash is doing something, and Barry and Iris and all the rest of the Team Flash, they're trying to figure out what is Reverse Flash's game. And you have Barry that reveals that Reverse Flash has something to do with Crisis, but it's like they just left that alone. when Nora just told, they just looked at last season. Nora showed to them the newspaper that shows that Reverse Flash and Psycho Pirate are at the helm of this whole thing, and Flash has to disappear into Crisis, into the Speed Force to prevent Crisis from ever happening, and Reverse Flash goes with him. So why the heck didn't they not talk about that? Like, that is the biggest thing. So if Reverse Flash is at the center of this whole Crisis event, shouldn't Barry and the rest of his team be looking into this whole situation and try to find the Reverse Flash? Shouldn't the whole story should be about Reverse Flash? And then by the end, by the time they get to the half mark of the second half of the season, when we get back from the break, that's when you build up blood work. You slowly build him up, but you still have Reverse Flash and Barry. That Reverse Flash is not truly gone. And Barry and him have a one final race, and Barry's able to finally defeat Reverse Flash and cause him to finally fade off, be erased from existence. And then at the final end of the season, that's when we get introduced to blood work, and the next season it's him telling everybody that these heroes have screwed up, too many people have died, and now he's gonna fix what they broke. And that's how you start Bloodwork storyline. You slowly build him up throughout the second half of the season, but you don't, there's, they meet up with him and everything, but he doesn't get his powers or anything like that. He's just watching as these heroes are just screwing things up, and Reverse Flash is proving that to Bloodwork that these heroes are not good people, and that's what his whole story is about. That you guys are causing more deaths than anything else, and I have to fix it. And that could be his whole story in all this next season. However they want to write it, but it makes more sense to just concentrate on the Reverse Flash, and it's Reverse Flash and Barry and their final race, and you just slowly get rid of the Reverse Flash. You get rid of Eobard Thawne. You can introduce another Thawne. You can introduce Thaddeus Thawne. He's a future version of a future version of a Reverse Flash, but they're like, who the heck are you? And he's like, my name is Thaddeus Thawne. And it shocks the crap out of everybody. Like, wait a minute, we got rid of Eobard Thawne. There should be no more Thawnes. No more Thawnes in all of it. But you get this huge feeling that something else is going on, and that's when you can do the return of the Reverse Flash and cement his return in time. And you could build off of that storyline where Barry can never get rid of Eobard Thawne. He can never get rid of him. Eobard Thawne is eternal. As much as Barry is around, Eobard Thawne has to be around. And you cement it. You cement it that no matter what, it's always going to be Eobard Thawne versus Barry Allen. And it's emotional. It's tight knit. It's right there in your face, and it's raw because you can't get rid of him. And that's something that they've always stated in the comics. Barry can never get rid of Eobard Thawne. And you can easily just have him all the way to the he's around, but he does not want to go anywhere near Barry. And you're wondering why. And then you find out, and whenever they have the final season, that's when you drop the hammer about why Eobard Thawne wants nothing to do with Barry. Has something to do with their Speed Force power. And what happened in Crisis. And blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. However they want to do it. But you write it where Eobard Thawne can never be killed. He cannot be killed by in conventional means. You can shoot him, it won't do anything. There's something about it. So you could do something really, really cool with that. That's what I would do. Just make it seem like it's cool, like, okay, but you can easily do it. It's comic booky. Like, hey, this is the reason why he cannot die. And you just have it as he's there, and that's it. But you don't have Barry going against him that much anymore. He shows up, does something stupid, and he does something really cool, beats Barry up and runs off. Just to prove to Barry that he could still beat him. And Barry's like, what the heck is going on here? So you easily do stuff like that. Supergirl, from what I'm seeing of the ratings, I don't think this show's going to last another season. It might last one more season, and then it's going to get canceled. They are not going to have a sixth season. I think this is going to be. I think they're going to have up to 5 seasons, and I think it's mainly due to the fact that they have pushed so much SJW and people are sick and tired of it. The ratings have shown that nobody really likes it. I mean, they still got a good cult fan base. They got a good fan base, but it's not enough for the Nielsen ratings. It's not enough for the demographic. The demographic that's watching is slowly plummeting. It's bad. Okay, Batwoman is the same thing. They're pandering so much to an audience that doesn't really exist, and it's costing them ratings. It's costing them the demographic, and people are talking about how bad the writing is. Kate is written as someone that doesn't make any sense as a superhero. She's not as trained as Bruce, but for some reason she thinks that she's a better hero than Bruce Wayne. Okay, she hasn't proved it yet. She's trying to use his gadgets like she's a master of it, and she screws up on it. She's trying to basically defeat these villains, but she lets the villains go for no apparent reason. So she can go out. So her sister can go out and go kill more people. It makes no sense. They're right, and then on top of that, it's bad. It's a bad show. I've watched a lot of the reviews, and I'm reading a lot of the things, and I'm reading a lot of the reviews, and it's not that good. It's not that good. It's terrible. Now, in my personal opinion, I've not watched Legend of Tomorrow. I have not seen that many reviews of it, especially YouTube reviews. People are just going whatever to it. Black Lightning, in my personal opinion, is probably one of the better written shows. Um, it's 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 written very very well. However, there are some problems with it that makes my head hurt a little bit. But it to me, when it comes down to the writing, it's probably the better written show out of all of them. The characters make a lot more sense, and the storyline makes a little bit more sense. Next to that, it's the Flash. The Flash makes a lot of sense for what they're doing, especially since Crisis is all around Barry. It's all about Barry. It has nothing to do with Oliver. Oliver's a byproduct of the situation. But Arrow is the next best written. The most poor is Batwoman, and the next just above that is Supergirl, from what I'm hearing. So this is terrible, and they're utilizing the fact that they're bringing in nostalgia. They're bringing in Burt Ward from the 60s Batman as Burt Ward. They're bringing in Linda Carter as the 76 Wonder Woman. They're bringing in Kevin Conroy, which is finally due. He's playing as Bruce Wayne from a different universe. Some people are talking about Mark Hamill might come in and play as the Joker, which will, if Mark Hamill is announced to play as the Joker, you can kiss those ratings through the roof. Flat. You got Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill live action on a set to play their roles. I'm sorry. No effing way. That is going to be, I will watch it for that. I want to see that 10 seconds. I want to see that real bad. I want to see that alone. I don't care about anything else. Brandon Routh playing as basically from what I'm hearing is Brandon Routh is going to bookend the Christopher Reeve Superman, and he's playing as the Kingdom Come Superman. He looks like he got himself in really good shape for it. He got big. I'm very happy with that. I think that he deserves it. I think that he does deserve it. He was a really good Superman. He played a really good Superman. The only problem I had with the Superman is his story sucked. Okay, other than that, he played a really good Superman. He looked like a good Christopher Reeve Superman. Um, then we're gonna have some. What we're also hearing is that Tom Welling is gonna come back. So is Erica Durant. I think that's a good idea. I really wish they brought in Michael Rosenbaum, but he might not be back. Now they're talking about they want the DC streaming service involved. I don't want that. Keep them the heck away from it. Their storylines conflicting with theirs, and the way they're written is gonna so conflict with theirs. Because of two reasons. One, the Doom Patrol would be cursing up a storm, and you're gonna put a pike on them. No way. Especially Brandon Fraser's Robot Man. No, he can be F this, F that, MF this. No, no. There's no way you can do that. Two, Titans. There you got in the middle. You got Dick Grayson in the middle becoming Robin, and now you have Kate talking about how Bruce walked away from his city. It would piss Dick Grayson off. It would piss Dick Grayson off. He'd be like, no, wait a minute, that Bruce would never do that. And then the way Supergirl is written and the way Batwoman is written, they're gonna be at odds with most of the people on the streaming service, because they're gonna be like, what the F are you talking about? Hey, you may be Supergirl, but man, you're pompous. Like, what the heck is going on with you? Another thing is Arrow. I mean, it's gonna be Stephen Amell's Arrow. It's gonna be too big, and there's too many heroes with too many egos, and he's gonna try to keep everything in line. So is Barry. Who's gonna be the leader of all this? And none of them are gonna listen to Stephen Amell. Stephen Amell's Green Arrow. They're not gonna listen to Oliver Queen. Dick Grayson is he's probably the most effectual hero on out of all these other heroes. He's been trained, and he's better trained than even Oliver Queen. I'm sorry, he is. He's way better trained. So I mean, and again, that's to me that is speculation. But I don't want to see Dick Grayson fighting against Oliver Queen. I mean, that would absolutely make no sense, and it would piss a lot of fans off. It would piss a lot of fans off. It'd be like, nope, nope, that makes absolutely no sense. This wouldn't make any sense. This wouldn't make any sense. So I don't want the streaming service to be a part of it. I don't want them even touching on this show. They should just keep it to the nostalgia, keep it to the CW, and keep it to everything that they're building. Don't bring the streaming service into this. And then on top of that, they want to try to WB wants the DCEU Justice League a part of it. Hell no, no effing way, no way. Ben Affleck would not do it. I'll tell you that right here now. He would not waste his time to put on a suit and basically look at Kate Kane and be like, what the f? If you're gonna do DCEU, bring in Aquaman and bring in Superman. That's it. Don't even bring in Ezra Miller's Flash. It'll confuse too much crap because they don't look nothing like each other. And he's supposed to be Barry Allen. Nope, don't bring him in. And then Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. There'll be too many conflicts. Because the way she's gonna talk and the way that she's gonna present herself, it's gonna offset all the other women on the show. Like she's actually listening to all the other men. And you got all these other women there trying to be like, we're this and we're that. And it's like, okay, but he should already know what he's doing. Is he your leader? They're like, no, Barry is. Okay, well, what is your plan? I mean, Wonder Woman will be the most diplomatic out of all of them. And she'd be like, okay, what's his plan? Okay, well, let's do his plan. And that's how she's always going to be about it. But you're going to have Kate Kane sitting there saying, no, I'm not listening to his plan. I'm going to do my own thing. And she'd be like, what's the, whoa, you guys are not unified. What the heck is going on here? She's going to call it out like, what the heck is going on here? Heck, even Donna will be like, what the heck is going on here? You guys are not even unified. I mean, listen, we have our problems, but at least we'll listen to somebody. So that's the thing. You're going to have too many people with too many egos and no one's going to want to listen. And that's why I say, do not bring the DCEU into this. If you're going to do it, bring in Henry Cavill Superman and Jason Momoa's Aquaman. They will be perfectly fine. And you're not going to undercut anybody because Jason Momoa's Aquaman is not going to do that very much of anything. He'll be doing some superpower stuff, super strength, maybe some super durability, and that's it. Same thing goes for Henry Cavill. He's not going to take the whole thing away from them. But they can easily just write him in there and he'll be perfectly fine. So again, this whole situation with the CW and this crisis event, we got to see what it is. We got to see what it is. We got to see how it unfolds. But it just looks like it's going to be a hot trash. But I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to give it a chance because I think that all these actors and actresses deserve it. This has been something they've been building up to since Crisis on Earth X. And I think that they can do a really good job with it, but I think they're hitting so much nostalgia to cover up a lot of the problems going on with the CW itself, and try to garner a lot of views. Now you're gonna have a lot of YouTubers out there gonna say this is gonna be awesome and this and that. Okay, that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. You can be happy as hell about all of this, but that doesn't mean that you have to be ignorant to what the heck is really going on here. And what's really going on is Arrow is going. They don't have another strong show. Their other strongest show is The Flash and Black Lightning right now. Supergirl is draining its viewers out, and Batwoman is pissing the Bat fans off. Your whole universe is gonna lose its founding its pillar of show. It's gonna lose its pillar show, which is Arrow. It's gonna lose it. And the Flash is slowly losing audience members too. But right now, the only thing that's keeping it afloat is the fact that literally it's crisis. If this next season, if the second half of this season is crap, I guarantee you they're going to be reevaluating what the heck is going on. And it's not superhero fatigue. It is not. It is bad writing fatigue. People are tired of crap writing. They don't want to be pandered to. They don't want to be whack fingered to. They don't want people trying to tell them that we're better and you're piss poor because of this. No, they just want Arrow to be a swashbuckling adventure. They want the Flash to be a temperamental show about a guy who has super speed and he's trying to defeat villains. They want Supergirl to be flying around and trying to figure out how is she gonna make a difference in a world that either is gonna accept her or doesn't want anything to do with her. Batwoman, you don't need to crap all over Batman to make her a great hero. She is a great hero in her own right, just to make her competent, and she's not competent. She's piss poor. Kate's written and she's wagging fingers at people. You don't like me because I'm a lesbian. You don't like me because I'm a woman. No, we don't like you because you're crap. Your character is crap. You can stand behind it. You can stand behind you can stand behind the decisions that they did, but if you're gonna do that, you should stand in front of all the criticisms and take it on the chin. Stephen Amell has taken a lot of the criticisms a lot of fans have been said over the years on the chin. It's hurt him a lot. It's hurt him. He really wants to play this character and do him justice because not many people like Green Arrow. They think that Hawkeye's a better character, and I agree and I disagree with them. I think that Green Arrow is a way better character than freaking Hawkeye. He's a way better character. He's been through way more than Hawkeye ever has. In storyline wise, he's been through way more. Way more. He's a much, much better character, and they crapped all over Green Arrow's legacy to try to tell their own story, but they crapped all over Black Canary, and then they try to surface level it with Dinah Drake, which makes no sense. And then you bring back in Laurel Lance, but they made her an evil chick, but then they turn her into a good person, so now she's anti-hero, and she's like, what? Why? So, to me, the problem is not the actors. The problem is not the actors. And I don't blame the actors. I will shake every one of their hands, except Ruby Rose. I will shake every one of their hands. I'll be like, thank you for giving us an opportunity of watching you guys play these characters. Thank you. And I appreciate you guys taking it on the chin. I think that Grant Gustin has gotten unfaired. Yeah. I think that Stephen Amell's gotten completely unfaired. And I think Melissa Benoist got completely unfaired. But I also think that that a lot of the actors on these TV shows, they really need to understand where these criticisms come from. It has nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with misogyny. It has nothing to do with sexism. It has nothing to do with anything that they're trying to propose. It's more in the fact is we don't like you wagging your fingers at us. If you don't want us to do it to you, don't do it to us. That's just the plain about it. If you don't want us forcing our ideas onto you, don't force these weird, stupid ideas onto us. This is not what the character was written for. This is not what the character is about. Supergirl is not written to be a mother hen type of character, a character that's going to try to preach to us about that she's right, we're wrong, because that surface level right there, that shows how egotistical Kara Zor-El is. And it proves Lex right. It proves the bad guys right, that Kryptonians are bad people. And it goes against Superman's own principles. They're not there to preach. They're there to just help people, and that's it. And serve a better good. That's it. Not a greater good, a better good. Flash should not be pandering, and they don't do the pandering. That's what I like about it. They don't do that much of the pandering, but they need to tone down a lot of the rhetoric in the show that a lot of people are making the criticisms for. Like Candice Patton, she made her hair curly. I don't care. Her Iris West is written very, very weird. Write her character better. That's it. That's all I care about. I'm past the whole POC thing. It's whatever to me now. It is. It's a gigantic whatever to me now. Just write her better. And for Stephen Amell, I'll say it point blank. I think he's probably one of the best actors out of this whole roster mainly due to the fact that he really enjoys playing the Green Arrow, and it really, and you can see in his face, he was genuinely sad at the fact that he had to announce to his audience that that the show was that he wasn't going to pursue the show anymore. But they're going to give us another ten episodes, and I think that that's fair. But I have a huge suspicion that he took a lot of the criticism on the chin, especially with the whole Felicity situation, the whole Olicity, and the fact that they screwed over Katie Cassidy. I don't care how she was backstage, but the thing is that you screwed over the Black Canary. You screwed over the Black Canary character. We're not asking for you to say, hey, break up Olicity and give us the whole Black Canary and Oliver Queen thing. Some people are, but I'm not. What I'm saying is write the characters better. Just write them better. That's all I care about. Make me want to understand how they feel. Don't make them do opie dopey things for me to go. That makes no sense to what a real person's supposed to talk about or what they're supposed to generally say. And that's what I get, and that's what I don't get from these shows. I just sit there and just shove popcorn in my face, or just sit there and just play on my phone while these shows are on. And I don't, and that's not what you should be doing. You should be watching these shows to actually get something from it. For me, Black Lightning again is the best written show on the CW right now, and it's because they really get into there. They do some stuff that makes you kind of questioned, yeah, but I'm watching it to see what quality they're going to give to me. And right now the Flash's qualities went down a little bit and Arrow's has gotten up a little bit, but they sacrificed both Supergirl and Batwoman to try to wag a finger at me telling me that if you don't like this, you're a misogynist. Okay, I'll accept that role. You're still crappy written characters, and I shouldn't have to say that. I like Supergirl's character, and I actually like Kate Kane. I like the Kate Kane character. I want to see more of the Kate Kane character, but not Ruby Rose's version. No, thank you. So like, comment, share, subscribe down below. I will do another video talking about the Flash, and also I will do a review of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Um, Next week is going to be very, very tight. I won't be able to have that much on because it's going to be Black Friday. So the next following week, I'm going to be very, very busy. I'll try to get maybe one or two videos out if I can. I know that we're going to have two more episodes of Titans, and I will do my review on those. My review with Hawk is the Titans season 2 Jericho episode. It's called Fallen, and that's what I talk about. So that's why it's a little bit longer, and also it is literally why I'm not doing it right before the episode drops. So I want to get that review out, and then I can concentrate a little bit more on other things. So thank you for joining me. Hit that bell. I'll try to get as many videos out, and hopefully we're going to see a really good job with this Crisis event. I'm very skeptical about it, but we have to see what it is. We have to see what it is, and I hope to do a really good job. You guys have a great one. Thank you for joining me. Bye.